Hey everybody, welcome back to Lead Therapy, and thank you so very much for taking time for tuning into the video. In a recently released interview, Joe Biden said, "There is no rationale to have more than 10 rounds in a magazine, and even that's too much in my view." On January 11th, 2020, the Las Vegas Sun had a sit-down interview with Joe Biden, who at that time was a Democrat candidate running for the President of the United States. And in that 90-minute interview, numerous things were discussed, including gun safety. The first question that everybody has is, why did the Las Vegas Sun wait over a year to release this interview? And once I reveal some of his answers to the questions about gun rights and gun safety, then you'll understand why they waited so long to release this interview. And you can easily find this interview by Googling Las Vegas Sun's 2020 sit-down with Joe Biden. Right at the start, Biden continues to repeat the fantasy that he is the only reason Congress passed the Brady Bill and a ban on so-called assault weapons in the early 90s. I'm the only guy that got the Brady Bill up and passed and expanded. I was able to include an assault weapons ban and the number of rounds that could be held in a magazine. And we all know it just wasn't Joe Biden. There were other senators to help ram that bill through. But Joe Biden didn't stop there. He also claimed an overwhelming majority of NRA members thought we should do away with assault weapons. And now we get to the part about Joe Biden talking about his view on how many rounds somebody should be able to have in a magazine. He still wants to ban standard capacity magazines that come with most semi-automatic firearms. But he says the old anti-gun standard, limiting capacity to 10 rounds, is still too much in his view. Who knows what isn't too much for Joe? In the past, he has alluded to limits of 3 rounds. Joe went on how he intends to pass his anti-gun proposals. He wants to hide it in larger bills that legislators may feel forced to support. So basically, Joe Biden is saying he can't pass gun control as a standalone measure. And finally, Biden makes it clear that he intends to try to crippling the firearms industry under crushing legal fees by repealing the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. So in conclusion, Joe Biden told The Sun in January 2020 that he wants to ban most commonly owned magazines and limit their capacity to fewer than 10 rounds, and perhaps as few as 3 rounds. He wants to cripple the gun manufacturers under the burden of expensive and meritless lawsuits. And he wants to do this with secretive backroom deals or larger legislative packages that might force reluctant, relatively pro-gun lawmakers to betray their constituents. In closing, the Las Vegas Sun decided to sit on this information for over a year. In Nevada, the battleground state, wasn't called for Biden until several days after the election. In a state where more than 160,000 background checks for firearms purchases that were conducted through the first week of November 2020, a new annual record with nearly 2 months still to be tallied. It's no wonder the public's trust of the media is low. Whether it's through legislative bullying, executive action, anti-gun cabinet nominees, or attacking the NRA and its members, there is little doubt Joe Biden will do everything he can to eviscerate the Second Amendment. So there you have it. The Las Vegas Sun held back an interview with Joe Biden because it would have hurt his chances for becoming the Democratic nominee for president. And then him saying 10-round magazine capacity is too much in his view. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell post notifications. And thank you for your support, and I will see you next time.